Is that it? Did it work? Oh my god. You would think after all these years, everything would just work. And it looks like it's working, but we're never sure. I had to spray out some car soap. I'll be honest, I'm not sure when it's gone. Oh, I hear some air. There we go. Now it should be good. Cool. We got a Mustang, and we're going to be tinting that. No duh. Select the source. Oh, it's not there. How about now? There it is. Sometimes it just takes a minute. What's up? Oh, getting some things squared away. And then I can push that button and we'll let that load. But everything should be good. No. Don't do that. Go here. Stay on that window, please. Okay, we got a Mustang. We need to trip the doors. Let's start with that. No front windshield on this, just the sides and the rear. And it looks like something was done back here. I'm not quite sure if this was a removal. I don't think so. But there's definitely some schmoo that has been cleaned off at one point. Sound. Alright, is it gonna stay there? Is it gonna disconnect? Tinting a rear windshield. Oh. Hang on. I have never had my headphones sound so terrible. Tinting a rear windshield at the top left corner. There's a spot where it doesn't want to go down. I do the H pattern, shrinking what could be wrong. Generally, it's you're forcing film to pinch there rather than kicking it out the top corner. So I'll try and remember that when we are going over the back window. It's a good steamer. Steamers aren't expensive. You can find them at Walmart. You can find them on Marketplace, on Amazon. You just need a cloth steamer. Just anything that puts out steam but has a hose. So like a fabric steamer. Oh yeah, I gotta get 15. I ran around with a shark steamer from Walmart for like 2 years. It was great. That was after I'd been tinting for a long time. When I went mobile, I just picked that up. Last one I had from there, I like when the tanks are attached to the rest of it, because especially if you're mobile, they bounce off. But a lot of them heat up pretty quickly too. So you can just get one from a local store. Literally just did a Mustang yesterday. I couldn't get the front windshield to stick. We will go over that. Yeah, what is going on with this? I thought I fixed this. Let's see if I just searched L. Now it's gonna, I don't want to click on any of this. Dude, I have no idea what's up with my headphones right now, but they're the worst sounding things I've ever heard. It's not the headphones, it's actually the voice in this. So something is wrong with then this. And then we're gonna reopen it and cross our fingers that it doesn't sound like complete shit. Snuggle dryer sheets. And a clay bar from your website finally shrunk a windshield perfectly. Hey, that's awesome. Really glad to hear that. Okay, so let's get started. I don't know why I haven't had this issue yet. It's always something different. But I have a text-to-speech voice, and it's supposed to just sound like a voice. In this case, it's like, and I have no idea what it's saying. But I've never heard it sound that bad. New knife. This is one that we use for other things, like cutting apart boxes. I guess we'll just see. We'll see if it fixes itself. That's the way live streaming stuff works. It magically fixes itself, I hope. My window tint is coming out from the bottom. How can I fix it? Is it like on a door window? You typically can't. You gotta redo it. All right. So we're gonna split this one in half. No, it must be a text-to-speech thing. Because I was listening, like I had a video, and that was fine. There is a software update that I can try. We might just want to try it. Frameless doors. Might as well just cut them individually on this one. I remember when the Camaros first came out, I would double cut windows on the passenger side, and then I would often try and double cut the Camaro. And then the driver's side was always a 1/4 inch longer. It's funny. The voice does work, but just not well. What marketing agency do you use? Union. They help get my ads set up. Okay, new version. Let's do this. What version do I have to download? Mac ARM64. I think something like that. So we'll close that. This one. All right. Now, does that open the old version? Or do we trash that? And click on this one. Okay, there we go. Select live sources, activate. Sorry, we're having problems with the chat. I can see them as they pop up, just my text-to-speech is being stupid. I'm trying to fix that. So some of the messages aren't showing. So feel free to say them again so I can see them. God, I haven't done a Mustang in so long. I just don't get them. I used to get them. All right, we're gonna start with, let's just put it about where we're gonna tuck. The exact order of this does not matter, but I'm gonna do that and then trim the side, shift it over, No, that did not fix it. I guess I can try a different text-to-speech. But man, that's bugging me. It's like an 8-bit sounding voice. It's weird. This is I think a 16 Mustang. Let's change out this blade too. So the only time I find out these things are broken is when you go to use them. So, text-to-speech, is that this one? We could try and change it. Copy. Now I have to docs, custom browser docs, new chat, apply. Okay, we're gonna see if that works now. So we're gonna cut this side now. I just go with the straight. Right, like that. Because I don't want to involve any of that curve, because we're still gonna shift it over a little bit. If I cut the entire thing exact, what I run into is this bevel shows, or like it's outside the bevel area a little bit. So I try and get it to go inwards just a touch, and then everything lines up a lot better. So I start with that. There we go. I even like reset my computer to make sure everything was gonna work. Oh God, now it's so tiny I can't even read it. This is what happens when you start screwing with stuff. How am I supposed to see that chat now? Alright, hang on. So all my settings then must have reset. Enable text-to-speech and feature tab. Text-to-speech service provider. Can we try that? Maybe system? See, this is a way too many. Way too many. So let me go to docs. Let me go to custom browser docs. And I erased my other one, so that's fun. Oops. Shit. Custom browser docs. Delete. Apply. And then we'll see if that fixes it. Oh, so the handle, this is just a fusion handle. It's like a reddish something. They say red. It's more of a, it's not quite red. But Fusion has 3 handle colors: black, that reddish, and yellow. They should have done some like fun colors. So we're gonna round this. This is our top edge, so we're just gonna continue, and then we're gonna round that. We'll put it on the window and see where it lines up. How much do you spend per day on Google Ads? Over the course of a month, I think our budget is set at $1,000. And a few months ago, they told me that I can just up my budget if I want, and it would just leads are working, they pay for themselves. If I want to turn up the business for it, I can just increase the number of leads that are coming through on that. Every time I think about that ad system, I still want to tweak it. I don't like the landing page as much. Oh yeah, that's actually good because of the way this notches down. I think. Hang on. Yep, that's fine. This is gonna stick out just a touch. We'll shave that off. This is good. How long have you had the Mustang? It's not mine. It's been here since 10. Allergies, that's fun. How do we get my chat working again? Dang. This actually is really annoying. I don't know why the voice broke. Like, is it a simple restart the computer? I don't think it's my headphones. I'll switch it though and just see. The tint goes on the outside now. Yes, now it does. Or you've never watched an install video start to finish. That's always an option. Either everything has completely changed and is different, or you never watched a full thing. One of the two. You heat them weird AF. I'm sorry. Alright, let's switch and see if it's the same. Start with that. Oh my god, that's worse. Let's see. Yeah, see, headphones are fine. So this is broken somehow, and I have no idea how to fix it. Default dock. Preset overlay theme. There's just too many. This is some nerd's wet dream here. Text to speech and all coming. So it's got to be here. Okay, so this is where I can change it. This is broken. So let's do system. Oh, okay. Well, that worked. Why did that work? I don't know. And then styling, compact, mode, increase text outline. But how do we just see? There's too many settings, so you're trying to figure out how to do anything. Let's copy link. Copy. We're going to go to docs, custom browser docs, paste, apply. Okay, and then we'll just see. It's probably going to be mostly the same thing with a touch of difference. He put a lot of panel dressing on this one. I can smell it. You tried turning it off and on again. You tried unplugging it and plugging it back in. I started with turning it off and on again. I didn't realize the chat was broken. The only issue that I have is if I turn it off and on again. Classic IT crowd solution. It bricks the stream, so I gotta start that over. I guess at this point it doesn't really matter though. Let me try one more thing. So text to speech, that's this. This is what it's running on. System. That's very robotic, but if it works. Copy. We're gonna docs. I'm getting the hang of this again. I remember how to change this. Apply. Close. And then we'll just see. Then I have to figure out how to resize it. Yeah, I use like 3 things, but I gotta dig through a menu half a mile long to figure out where those 3 things are. It's annoying. It's too many settings. But it's the only app that's ever worked. This is what makes you go, I should make my own software. Oh, okay. So I changed the voice, and whatever I changed it to is not the voice that I selected. That makes sense why it's so screwy. Kind of fun problem because now how do I fix it? But it makes sense why it's broken. It's got to be on the app side of things. So I wonder if I switch this voice to something else, if it'll just like, I'll randomly pick a voice that's okay enough. But now my text is so small. It's not helpful. So unhelpful. What did you price all the side windows in the rear? Sides and rear on most vehicles I do $299. So that would be this one too. We're doing ceramic though, so it's $350. That's nice. Bitch. Do not just do that. I don't even know how to describe the text-to-speech, but I know at one point a lot of people have heard this one. It's like a comical, sad voice that's all robotic-y and sounds like it's drowning. When I reverse roll, I get a tiny hair every time. I tape the headliner, use gel. Any tips? Unfortunately, not really. Could be from like your towel. And I'm having a hard time of identifying this, but sometimes like when we're packing up towels here for shipments, we like bring them out. Just make sure all the extra dust and they're nice and flat when we pack them. And that kicks up a lot of little fibers in the air. But I've also noticed when I wipe off the roll, like my towel can leave little fibers in the air. But it's always hard to say exactly what your issue is. Because a miscellaneous piece of dust could come from like a number of things in your process. That's quite nice. I like that. I did my first VW Passat this weekend. The rear window kicked my ass. Yeah, Passats aren't fun. Just expect to get your butt kicked on that one. You'll probably get it better the next time. I have a Jetta coming in on, I I think Thursday this week. But on a car like that, you really just have to cut them as slim as possible on the edges. There's just not space. Okay, hang on a second. Overlay, font size, scale. Scale, maybe 3, 2.5, that could work. Text to speech, this is where all my problems I'm having now are. It's not Samantha's voice. Whose voice is it? Oh, that's the voice it is right now. So if I change it to like cellos? Okay, let me try that. And then go to docs, custom browser docs. It's like one off, which might be why I'm having such a problem. I have a Passat that needs tinting ASAP. And struggling with the 26 RAM rear door. What's wrong with the RAM? Oh, there we go. No, voice is still the same, but I fixed my text sizing issue. Can't wait to get my tools and Apex Film order in. I've been wanting to get some legit tools. Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome. Well, now I can read it from farther away, so that's good. I'm slowly remembering how to use this app. It was a set it and forget it. And then when it breaks, we gotta try and remember how to even use the damn thing. Still gives me the same voice, though. So I guess I just gotta try a couple things and see if we can get lucky. Okay, we're gonna slide this down some. But she's stuck. I've got quite a few live streams on RAMs. We've done a whole bunch of them. I would look at one of those. Trying to give advice on exactly how to make that cut pattern is a little tough right now. But whenever you're cutting a door window and the seal, like the window drops out of the frame some, and the seal basically comes up and curves inwards. You want to look for the flattest spot, even though it's one long curve. You want to look for the area, like, you can cut anywhere from here up, but as soon as it starts curving back this way, that's the end of your side edge. So you would only cut that little portion at the bottom and then shift it over. Is it bad that I'm starting to get used to this voice? My Focus RS back window is kicking my ass. The doors were not bad. Is it the spoiler that gets in the way? Just kind of everything? You want to be able to make a template of a focus and then shrink away from that spoiler area. You can still make it work, but just getting the cutout is difficult. They're a little curvy for the size of window. Are you a mechanic? No. I'm a tinter. Okay. We can scale this back down to 2. This is good. And then text-to-speech voice. System. 11 Labs, Google Cloud. I need an API. Gemini. I need an API. Speechify. I need an API. OpenAI. I need an API, which I have. I just don't have time to get it. Piper. Testing is not available. eSpeak. Testing is not available. This one? What about Kitten TTS? Oh wow, that one's interesting. Well, that's more understandable than what I've been listening to. So we're going to try it. Docs. Custom browser doc. Delete. Replace. Apply. Close. If anything, the text size will be better. Bought some new tools from you guys since I keep losing my black ones. Appreciate it. Thanks for the order. I hope you don't lose these ones. I misplaced knives and tri-edges a lot. Right about there. Flip it around. Tri-edge is the mechanic's 10 mil. For sure. Oh, now my text-to-speech's not working at all. Okay. Play around with the problems until you start to see patterns and how they break. So like it seemed like it was my headphones. It's not my headphones. It's definitely text-to-speech. It's picking a voice that's not working. So I only need to do 2 things again. I'm gonna close this. We're gonna go scale this up. If anything, this will be nice. We'll do 2.22. And then we'll try one more. This one. A lot of voices to pick from, but we'll just go with a different one. That works. Docs, custom browser docs. Apply. Close. Cross your fingers. Again. Okay, so on a Mustang and any other curvy door, sometimes you'll just get larger fingers. So if I snap shrink, I'm not gonna sweep out as much water because there's larger fingers there. I don't wanna try and crease the film. So I can start with knocking some of those larger fingers down with some heat, and then switch on over to snap shrink. But your time will vary with how much water is behind it. So if I didn't sweep out any water, wherever I'm heating that there is a lot of water is obviously not going to shrink very well or very fast until it's dried. So that's sometimes why this is going to take longer than a simpler door window. There's just more curve, there's water. You could even use a dryer sheet and dry shrink them if you really wanted to. But there we go. That one's ready to install. We gotta clean off the inside, mask it. Is this greasy? Yes, it's greasy. Ooh, it's like half sticking. Even our door panel has a tough time with Armor All. Good job, Armor All. So, I really should wipe that off. Nope, voice is not fixed. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Is that OBS? I updated OBS. Ooh. That's even worse. That gives me an idea. I don't know how I would... Oh, I got a mute button. I could always try and mute that. Take my browser dock. And I could put it maybe in a separate... Right? Because this'll... Yep, that works. There's that. We'll try that. Might have a obscure workaround, which is always fun. We like those. Story of my life, obscure workarounds. Why did I do an OBS update? That's the worst. Should have just left it. I can't type in chat now. Then how'd you type that? That's almost unfair. People tell me how they deal with this, because this shit drives me absolutely crazy. The one thing about films that I find stupid is you're trying to fine tune them to like an nth degree, and then they pick a very small point mysteriously somewhere on the film, and they just lock up and will refuse to move. Unless you boop in the right passcode. Tap a little here, loosen a little there. And it's like most of the pattern is completely loose on the window. And so when it inevitably does like spring loose on you, the whole thing just like completely shifts out of the way as a big fuck you. It's the worst. Detroit Tint Studio, Sterling Heights. Did we get it though? Whew. Good. At least we got it. That was worth it. Let's see if it looks good now. On frameless, do you put the bottom seal above or below? Still tuck into the bottom seal. So, bottom loading them with the seal still in there. I just learned how to do that way early on. I don't know. And then the guy that taught me how to tint swore he never showed me how to do it that way. So I don't know. Maybe I made it up in my head. But without the frame in the way, the seals aren't that tight, and you can push back on the glass. I've tried to two-stage them this way, and you just don't get much space on the front. Pretty. That works. I like that. Good. She's done. What percent is that? 15. Yes, still using GeoShield. Do I have to like leave it on this window? Is that how this works? What file is that? They're just needle files. I think this was part of a Cobalt set that I found, and then like Harbor Freight ones too, Amazon. Out of all the files, I really like just these really small flat ones. You're able to get into top corner areas, not on like these. You could use a bigger file if you really wanted to. I just like the thin little files. I don't file that much though. But on this, I lined up the sides. And then what's always harder for me to do is line up this like top corner. So what I've been doing is just, I get it really close and overhang this corner, and then you can just file that off, and it just saves time. I feel like a little of this is probably hanging over. Let's try something a little scary. Let's go down a little bit more. There we go. Take the sharpness off of it. Pretty. Watched your videos, got inspired, found a job at a local shop. They taught me how to tint. I just quit, start tinting my own thing. Thanks for the inspiration. You're welcome. That's cool. And also, I hope you're on good terms with the shop that you just left. That's the thing. People ask, like, how do I get a job at a shop? Nobody wants to teach me. That's exactly why shops are hesitant to teach people. Should we give one more stab at this? This has got to be... So at this point, this has got to be a... I'm just trying to think of, like, something that I could do. Like, sources. So this... Let's try this. And let's pop this open. In here. It could even be a Safari versus Chrome thing for all I know. Let's try that. Actually, let's do that. Let's put that in a Chrome window. Close that one. Any trips to stop Tim from peeling on the bottom of frameless? Oof. On frameless, like, I feel like snap shrinking helps with that. Going below the seal and snap shrinking, because you got to make sure that edge is perfectly flat. If you crinkled it while you were trying to install it, it's not going to last. You can also keep the vehicle around a little bit longer. Do the doors first, dry the windows. Just take some extra steps. That's what I used to do. Like Camaros were hey, drop it off for the entirety of the day. We're going to do the doors first. And I couldn't tell you for sure if it's just my skill improved, it was a film choice. Because I used to have the early Camaros, especially, like they had a spot in the back here that would pinch really hard. And then we would have Camaro windows come back fairly regularly. And so, not a hard car to tint, but I would have them drop it off first thing in the morning, do the doors first, and then it gave it, they could pick it up in the, early afternoon. What are your thoughts on XPEL? Awesome marketing company. I appreciate a few things that they've done. They seem really attractive, and it just depends on if they fit your business or not. There's lots of shops that are happy, and lots of shops that are using them that are unhappy. They're a very controlling company. They're a very uniform company. They're got oodles and oodles of money to market. The reason you're asking is because they're so good at that. So, in a sea of lots of options, they've established themselves as one of the main go-to recognizable brands that comes with some good weight. But either the brand works for you or it doesn't make sense to carry. So better believe that price tag, or though that brand comes with premiums on all their films. You can get the same type of shit for less money, but you do not get the same type of recognition. Now, does that matter? That's up to you. If it helps you get better jobs, higher priced ones, build your brand, build your business better, then yeah, it's obviously worth it. But if it's just, I'm pulling in this film and I expect it to sell the jobs for me, that's just not going to happen. So in some areas, there's a lot more price competition. And it's just, people would rather go to an XPEL dealer, or it's just something that they don't recognize if they care at all. But, in the area that you're in, if people are paying $250, $300 for a job, that's going to be a lot harder to, I see people selling XPEL at over $1,000. It's like they don't just sell XPEL at over $1,000. They're a different type of business. XPEL doesn't accept mobile tinters. Is it worth it to buy it from a third party? Yikes. No. I mean, again, maybe, but probably not. If you're buying it from another shop, again, it's about all the premiums that are associated with that. And you could get cut off at any time. They might not find out. They say chances are probably pretty slim, because if a dealer is just ordering and selling it on the side, if nobody's talking to them, then they're not going to find out. It's just business as usual. But the year, 2 years go by, things can change. A shop can just, we were doing XPEL, we're just not carrying them anymore. And then that cuts off your source, and therefore cuts off all the customers that have ordered that through you, and you have no way of actually getting it to them anymore. Gonna try cleaning this off. I feel like there's some scratches on this. Having trouble laying my pattern in the corners. Sometimes I get too much tint in a finger. All right, well, we're getting into back window here pretty soon. I'm gonna set this up here for a little bit. I gotta try and clean off the inside because I'm seeing a couple little scratches here, and that's unusual for the inside. So I at least want to make sure that those are documented. What's up? Oh.
Only one thing in the community post all weekend. Good.
That is good.
This contacts back wasn't working.
Again? Rip.
And I think everyone on the old Tinting is going to migrate to the new Tinting.
Oh, that's good.
I've talked to 3 of them. I haven't talked to Northeast Autoworks guy, like the first one to sign up, but he'll hear $130 a month less in trouble.
All right. Let's see what we got here. What am I dealing with? So, a Mustang is one of the few back windows with like extra thick defroster lines. I'll turn the vehicle on before I go to install. Leave the defrosters running. But you'll especially pull off some crud on the lines. If I can get to it all. Put the camera on the dash? No, I'm gonna block the entire install. There's just not enough space there. We'll leave it on the outside here. Oh, good. Whatever that was not actually scratches. We cleaned it off. Nice. And I don't see anything like glue. It was just old schmoo from being 10 years old and never taken a real bath. Looking better. Whew. Just got a new SUV, but the 2 fronts aren't tinted. What's the price? Starts at $150. The white sponge is a clay bar. So, 313tint.com, 5% off tools if you use code 313, but that's where you can find the clay bar. Do we leave this one like this, or do we go back to POV? All right. We're gonna mist this. Yep, looks clean. Good. I'm gonna take a dryer sheet, just rough this up, and just get a smear. There we go. So we gotta let that dry. Can I check my... Okay, so this is working, but again, I can't hear anything. Weird. So docs, custom browser doc, apply, close. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. What happened? It's so annoying. I'm genuinely not sure what happened here. But my text to speech is just being dog shit right now. Ever thought doing PPF or raps? Yeah, definitely thought of it. They're good skills to learn and know. Using voice meter or ear trumpet? I'm using neither. Stream something. What is it called? Stream Ninja, Social Stream Ninja. It's been fine. I had an OBS update, and as far as I can tell, that's what's broken it. I don't really know why. But no matter what voice system that I switch it to and change the voice, like everything has problems. So, I don't know. It works, like the tests work in the app, but pasted inside OBS doesn't work. But PPF and Wraps they're both good businesses, but they're their own business. So you'll find a lot of people that want those services also want their car tinted if it's not. But it's not always the other way around. I think that is where a real big hang-up can be. You can have a business that is based around window tinting and try and sell them the other services, but what you really need to be doing is focus on growing the other services independently and then seeing if you can, if those customers are also obviously window tint customers. But tinted for a lot of different companies, a lot of it was like, oh, stereo and window tint. And it's like, there's so many people that were always separate. But I've come to realize a lot of people just look at window tint as an afterthought. It's like, I'll get this, and oh, I might as well get my windows tinted. Or I'll just get my windows tinted. This is a Mustang. All right, so we're just squaring this up. And then we'll go over the back window and what some people are having issues with. So very first, we just want to make sure that it's kind of even at the top of both. That's close enough. And then we're going to trim it shy of any obstructions. So that means this piece with the trunk is getting cut short of the trunk. And then on the sides, you don't want it overlapping any paneling, any molding. You just want it to lay as flat as possible. So I'm going to find where that center point is. Just good, happy medium. I'm going to pull it tight. It's going to take out a little bit. And then we're going to lay these flat. Just these fingers that would pop out the side, you direct those flat and you just tack it down. Just the very edge. You don't need to take 4 inches worth of side space and block it off. Pull it tight and then just lock that down. We're gonna adjust the sides, but we'll kind of explain that as we get into it. Turn the heat gun on. And then we're gonna be focusing on the first quarter, which is gonna be from here down to there. Most of your curve is gonna be on the sides. It flattens out a little bit more in the middle. It doesn't get completely flat, but this is a much bigger finger than whatever we have popping up there. Turn the heat gun on high, 45-degree angle, and I want to work the heat in. I don't just want to guess exactly how much heat that I need. Start out a little bit farther and just pull the heat gun in until you start seeing the film shrinking. And as soon as it does, keep it at that distance and then start moving that across your first space. Bring it back over. So this area right here, just little by little, you wait to see these little ocean waves starting to appear. And then you're gonna push that down. Not past where you shrunk, so just up to it. You're gonna wait until all the little horizontal spots are away. Now, where a lot of people get stuck on the corners is they're more focused on just pushing the air bubbles flat. You don't need to worry about pushing the air bubbles flat. You need to stretch this out over the window. So when you shrink a little bit here, you're gonna get these little swoops to start to form. Some of that material actually is just getting stretched flat out the sides. So you're gonna lift the side again, pull that material flat, make sure that's laying flat, and then you can continue shrinking. That's gonna be really important when we get to the top corner. See, we got these nice horizontal air pockets. We're gonna push these down. And then continue to shrink. Heat gun, leave it farther out. Bring it in until you start seeing it shrink. Oh, look at that, now it's starting to shrink. I'm gonna just keep that distance and go across a couple lines. You can just go little by little. But we're gonna jump from here right into the top corner. So I've had a few questions about that so far. How close to the edges do you get on the sides? So it's important that the edges are flat. That prevents you from burning anything on the sides. But I'm going to get probably right up to this line. You could put a little bit of heat on the line, but just make sure that this is flat. Something like that. Try and stay out of the way and show you as much as I can here. So, heat gun, 45-degree angle in the upward direction now. Just heat it up until you start to see those little waves form. As soon as you start to see them, they don't need any more heat. You guys are gonna just keep cooking them until you can like see a big sharp line across the whole window. That's what we're looking for, those little waves there. So then we're gonna discard this up. And this is gonna start to stretch out in this direction. Corners always kind of go up at an angle, but we tack this down, right? So that means if I just try and do this, I might crease the film. Lift that, so we just release it from the corner. Knock that wave out the side. Flatten this edge out, so if I have a finger here, I can direct that upwards. There you go. But on the next one, I'll try and show, let's see how this is gonna look. Just trying to stay out of the way of the camera a little bit. Go up to here, and then again, this little like swoop here. See that? What a lot of people do is they get confused and they just want to like push it like this and knock all the air out. What you're trying to do is flatten it. So I'm going to take it, and like if I was trying to flatten this film, squeezing it on the inside, I'm going to take it from here, and I'm going to pull it like that. See how that's now flat? But if there's slack in the film, you have that swoop. So the carder's doing the exact same thing as pulling this flat. It's just doing it little by little. Just an organization tool. But it's just the same pattern over and over again. We're just heating the film up until eventually we see those little waves. Where people mess it up is they start doing too much too fast. They push down too much film. They're not quite sure what they're looking for. And they're not patient. Ooh, that was almost scary. I thought for sure that was going to put a line in my film. Awkward position. So we're going to take this over to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. Good morning. Go a little bit faster on this side. But same rules. Film is flat here on the edge. We can shrink near the edge, but we don't want to shrink all the way on it. Weird things start happening. On the other side, can you do the corner as fast as you can? Yes, I'll do it at a more normal speed. So see, we got these same little waves here, and I'm only going to push it up to right here. Not going to go farther than that because I didn't shrink any farther than that. That's where it goes from those little waves to all these. Right, like that. And these can be pushed down. So, top corner. I'm going to try and stay out of the way if I can. It's kind of hard to do this angle and stay out of the way. So, typically I just come straight up like this. So if my hand is out of the way, yeah, I think I can do that. Should be fine. So we got these nice little waves forming. I'm going to push them up to where I shrunk. And then the side. Like, you need to tell if a finger's too big and you need to pull shrink. See, people get a lot of different techniques and styles kind of like mixed together and confused. Pull shrinking is just a way of helping with whatever situation that you're in. So pull shrinking is just tugging on the film a little bit to flatten the film out. It's not specifically used just to make a difficult situation a little bit easier. But if I'm in a difficult situation, pull shrinking is going to help. But I don't know. I see comments that often say, "Hey, how do you know when to shrink a door window? How do you know when to do this? How do you know when to do that?" It's like they're all things that you should already be doing, or just part of whatever you're practicing. They're not often just like specifically situational. So on pole shrinking, you can do that at any time. It'll help take the sharpness out of the peak of a finger. So when I have really large fingers on a window, they go like this, right? So the hottest points are going to shrink faster than the lower points. So effectively what's happening is a big finger, the top middle portion of that finger is getting the most amount of heat because it's closest to the heat gun. If I flatten that out, now I'm just heating over a more even surface and trying to pull away some heat from the very top and just shrink a little bit more evenly. That's all that's going on with pole shrinking. I think this might have just helped me fix my issue with top corners. Hope so. Just about everybody makes those mistakes early on because they're trying to mix up and do two different things. You never just look at air on tint and just try and get the bubble to go away. The bubble is there because the film is bunched up or something just got trapped underneath it. But in the case of shrinking, like, we never just want to get the bubble to go away. It's there because the film needs to just be flattened out. So I'm gonna pull the tape off. We're gonna shrink the rest of it, but I'm gonna show you something first before we do that. Take this away. All right. So if I just lift this and lay it back down, there's a lot of tension here. I didn't just unshrink it. I'm trying to lay this flat over the back window. So that's what we're gonna be doing when we install it. Start kind of in the middle, stretch it out, but I have all this tension in here. So to make this tension go away, where do I pull it? I would pull it somewhere in here and somewhere here, right? Now that's much flatter than it was before. Same thing with up here. To get these waves to go away, I would pull it here and here. Get it to glass out over that surface. So when we're shrinking and carding, we're doing the exact same thing. We're just doing it little by little. We're watching what those little waves are doing. So I'm never just taking this and trying to cut across. That's going to take the entire chunk of film and crush it over on itself. I'm trying to take it and stretch it flat. Right? So some of this starts going towards the middle, and then when we get towards the outer curve, we see those swoops, and it starts getting pushed out the edge, but it's just tugging it flat over the window. That's all that's happening. The dryer sheet helps it to stick. That's all the dryer sheet does. It's a light, waxy tack surface that the film clings to. It just works really well. So when we're doing it little by little, as soon as I card down to the window, I want that film to be able to stick. Try using a spray wax instead of sheets. It's a lot faster. Yeah, that would probably work just fine. Not an actual spray wax. No, I've tried a bunch of different things, but I bet you a spray wax would be fine. I've tried like a can of car wax, soaps, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Nothing worked. Nothing stuck quite as well as this, but I could see like a spray wax doing it.
I will finally concede that some of the dryer sheets are better than bounce.
Yeah.
Because I've always used bounce, and unless I absolutely soak it, I don't get anything.
Yeah, they changed their formula.
Well, I tried with like the Bounce Ultra and a couple other, they have a couple other different versions.
Yeah.
And it's fine, but I have done it here enough now that I noticed that this one doesn't work out. I would have sworn that there was no difference for a long time.
Yeah.
There is, right?
I think it's just on some days and some windows, I think it's perfectly fine. And then some cases, there's just like, that's what I've run into with a bunch of stuff. AutoZone sells a spray wax called Lucas. That's my son's name. I'll have to check it out. All right, for funsies. Oh, this is regretsies now. Because it'll make it more slippery if I do this. I'll leave it on the board. I'm going to pull it off of the board and carry it in. But so you can see this better. Let's wipe this off. And we're going to Frankenstein it. Lucas. What factory does Expel buy their window tint from? Guari. So there's this handy little tool. Actually, there's a lot of them. Imports are public. So like you can just search up a large company and see what that company, like what manufacturers those companies or what countries those manufacturers are ordering from. So you can actually search popular names and you can actually see where their materials are shipping from. You'll see a lot of it from Korea, probably for PPF, and India. But keep in mind, they're also doing like coatings and other stuff. But the only reason to ship from India there, you can also see exports too. So search Expel and see what you see. Okay, so we're gonna hop in here. I'm gonna start this car too, turn on the rear defrosters. This is one of the few cars that I still do that, and I'm just nervous not to. Oh, the key's over there. Thick defroster lines, it helps if they're hot. Chargers, Challengers, Mustangs, 300s. What's the website called? Like Import Getty or something like that. There's quite a few of them. A lot of them are paywalled, but you can find some. Just look up global imports, like global shipping imports. Oh no! My headphone! It fell under the sea. Oh, like actually fell under the sea. There we go. But that's like one of the only, other than hearsay, that's like one of the only real, that I'm aware of, one of the only real ways that you can find like, where is shit coming from for different companies? I really wish that more would not be so shy about it, but I can also see why. A brand, like, they don't want you to know where it comes from because they don't want to be like everybody else, or they don't want to give other companies literal roadmaps. So like a lot of that stuff is behind closed doors and they're not going to speak about it publicly, but there's some little things, some little ways they can at least get like glimpses and insights without having to know somebody on the inside. But it's like a private jet tracker. It's like all that stuff is public, so you can find out a little bit of info. I can see that water beating right there. Hopefully it don't stick on me. They give you so much space in a Mustang. Guys, make sure your garage doors are closed. Don't want to pollute the air. Oh yeah, for sure. Close your garages. Just ordered some Pro Nano 40. Very cool. I like Pro Nano. Pro Nano 40 is nice. I should have just peeled this off of the back window so then it doesn't like slip down my hands, but here we are. We're gonna do the kung fu kick over that center console, swing around. Maybe I should have just tried finally reverse rolling the back window. Back glass is warm. There we go. getting a little grippy. And it's a little bit slippy under the film. There we go. And make sure we get all our gaps covered. Make sure we're all under that line. Good. All right. Looking pretty good. First pass. Now we're gonna make a second pass. Go a little harder. Right over the defrosters. Oh, fuck you, there's a hair there. Because of course, this is up top. And it's a big one. My favorite. Got it. Big hairs are nice. They come out very easily. And it's on the top, which makes it even better. Everything sweeps away. All right, now while we're going along the defrosters, make sure to like sweep along the same angle. Defrosters are on, so they're gonna be really hot. They're gonna hold the film down. So you don't wanna sweep an air bubble across them and try and smear anything. Go to the middle. Squeeze that out. Good. I think we're home free. And then we are reborn. How'd that go? Pretty well. I'm liking it. So the defrosters, with turning on the film, or turning on the defrosters, with installing the film, is situational. You might go, how do I know which ones to turn on the defrosters? For the most part, you don't, unless you're here today. Chargers, Challengers, 300s, Mustangs. That's like the list that I have. I don't even know if it's necessary on this one, but the charger issue used to be on more than just chargers. So that's where my little list came from. I just run into cars where, hey, I went to install it and I had a bunch of little peanuts. But since then, my shrink is a lot more even than it used to be. So I always wonder, like, hey, maybe if I just tried more evenly, it would be okay. Do a final check. Looks good. Alright, I like it. Looks good. You have a finger on the bottom left corner. Unless that one came earlier. Nope. Nothing, just dots. Yay. Yeah, it looks really nice. Good. Good, 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 good. Okay, quarter windows are left, and then she's gonna be a wrap. $15 to $23. Good God, that's been around a while. Passenger, drivers, put them there. Put them there. Let those cut. Let me get my sprayer. I saw a hair redo. Show me where. This back glass, there's a scratch here. There's scratches there. This back window is not in perfect condition, but there is definitely not a hair. There was one towards the top, but we took that one out. I would think it goes this way, but it definitely goes this way. It just feels like it should go the other way. I flip these sideways. We don't really have to shrink it. See how flat that is? I still have a tendency to. When do I need to shrink it? I don't know. I just typically always do. All right. Mini squeegee, razor blade, and a towel. Let's hop in there. I haven't had a Mustang in a while. But you know what? I don't miss getting in the back of these. But I was pretty happy. It's like, oh man, full Mustang with no windshield? Sign me up. I haven't had one like that in a while. Does it fit? It fits. Ta-da! All right, other side. Let's get some junk out of here too. Like my headphone. It's not really doing anything today. How much time did the plotter realistically save? Oh, not much. I was more lazy about what I had to do. Take a glass aid, line it around it, cut both sides with a light. Yeah, just plot them. Cuts will turn out smoother anyways. I was planning on doing that for the back window, but then I had it glass aided and I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about shrinking so we can hand cut that one out. But easy to cut. You got a large border around it. Oh yeah, I still need my quarter window. Look at me. I jumped in here for no good reason. I don't even have a window. Let's go get it. Favorite car to tint? Malibus. They're just like one of the first ones that come to mind. F-150 should be on that list. For whatever reason, when I think of like car, I feel like F-150s are almost cheating. But just like a full sedan, start to finish, give me Malibus all day long. So simple. And I used to get a bunch of them. It was like the Fusions, the older ones, pre-2012. Those were super fun. When we had a day of Impalas and Fusions, it was like, oh, nice. With a plotter, I got to a point where I could tint a car in under 2 hours. Is that pretty good? Yeah, that's really good. I'd say that's about where you want to shoot. Faster than that is definitely more than possible. But for one person to always go faster than 2 hours a car all day, every day, can kind of just be a lot. Let's go this way. But the way that I would schedule and plan my day is expect up to 2 hours on most any vehicle, all the sides and the rear. Give yourself an extra half hour, 45 minutes for like a full windshield. Maybe an hour. But I think that's a pretty decent schedule for a single person. And you always have room to go faster than that. But it, you know, when I was not juggling as many things in a day, so I didn't do customer check-ins, I was tinting at other shops. It's like where I get some of those time frames for. If you're checking in a customer, checking out a customer, talking to them about options, that all eats away at that time. So it was pretty much like 2 hours, start to finish, on all the sides and the rear, not accounting for the extra stuff. Because everybody's going to be a little bit different. Some are just going to take up more time. Think about buying a keg from your website. Does it need something to get pressure? Can I refill it with solution and it's ready to go? No, it needs air pressure. Now you can do that with so many cheap air compressors. You can go to Walmart, just get a tire filler. They use just the same type of tire valve stems. So release the air pressure, fill it up, leave a little gap for air at the top, and recharge. If I were to hand cut, do you think I'd still be in that time frame, or is hand cutting much slower? Everybody's different, so I can't say for sure. I don't know how, like, what your skill level is. Hand cutting is definitely slower if you're not double cutting. So when I'm hand cutting a sedan, I'm cutting both front doors at the same time. Then I cut both back doors at the same time. If you're not doing that, you're for sure moving slower. But just because your workflow is used to a plotter, you just might naturally be a little bit slower. But a competent hand cutting person is as fast as a plotter for most general scenarios. But where a plotter really speeds up is a few things. If I have somebody running the plotter for me, well, now we're just taking away the time of cutting and prepping. We're having somebody else deal with that, and I can work on installations. So they're really effective when you work with a team. But just a single individual, if I have a back window and quarters, a plotter's going to be able to cut that out so much faster than I will just by hand. Now, a big trade-off is, will that plotter do the exact type of cut that I need it to do? Usually on back windows and quarters, it does. On door windows is where it can be iffy. I use core. I like core. But even core is not perfect. So that's something to consider. If you're just less familiar with hand cutting, you just might not put out very good hand cuts initially. So obviously the plotter would be better in that situation, but it's a learned skill. You always should know how to hand cut, because you just don't want to be left stranded when you have issues with the patterns or the machine. But many shops and installers live 100% by them. What if you triple cut? If you need to. It's not crazy. There was a fleet of vehicles, and I would cut out 4 patterns at one time. Was it 3 or was it 4? I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute. But I had to do a bunch of DNR trucks, and it was just the rear doors on, like, what was it? Silverados, basically. The rears did not come factory tinted. They reorder the same trucks every year for the DNR, and they had like 40 of them to tint, just back to back. And they had cutouts for the lights. One year we plotted them, and then I had to do some extra ones. And they just lined up a bunch for me to do. And somebody would pull them into a garage. We had space for 3 of them. And I would just jump from Silverado to Silverado. And I hand cut, I think, all 3 trucks at the same time. But I would cut out like 3 door windows together. The guy that started his own business doesn't hand cut. The shop where I worked at would turn down those older cars. If they don't have patterns and software, nobody knew how to hand cut. Oh, wow. That's awful. Take a class. Take one of our single day classes. Learn how to hand cut, or just practice in your spare time. That's wild. A shop, like, literally, man. So many dumb shops are allowed to exist. It's weird. Look, it's just a simple... I'm kind of just dumbfounded that can be a thing. Like, okay, here's my business. My business that makes me income, right? I want to be able to take on as many jobs as I possibly can within reason. And here's a skill critical to that business. Let's just not learn that ever. Like, come on. If it's not in the plotter, we don't do it. I'm sorry, you have to take it somewhere else. There's another shop that just like, and I hear from it time to time, just like, but one that I was genuinely shocked. Like, pulling a lot of cars every day. Oh yeah, we just don't do windshields ever. We just send them to another shop to get their windshields tinted. It's like, wait, excuse me? Why would you not? Yeah, I'm just not as good as doing windshields. And they're like, okay, fair. I wasn't as good as doing windshield either until I practiced a bunch, and now I'm good at doing windshield. I just don't know why you would take like such a major chunk of your business. And it's not like, oh, we don't do vinyl wraps. You can go take it to a vinyl wrap shop. It's not like a completely unassociated thing. It's just a main part of it. Unregulated industry. They've been in business for 14 years, and every installer acts like they are tint gods, but they can't hand cut. You see why I left. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So, like, it's funny because just from like the first sentence was like, yeah, they taught me how to tint, and now I'm starting my own thing, and it's like, ah. Like, I never fault anybody for doing that. That's where you get a lot of, like, hey, why can't I get a job at a shop? Why won't they want to teach me? And it's like, well, they don't want to teach competition is the real problem. Nobody can hand cut. So, like, a plotter spits out a pattern, and then it just, like, doesn't line up very well. You could take the time to then tweak the pattern a little bit, but if the top edge just doesn't line up nicely, then, like, you could cut another plotted pattern and line that top edge up and just whoosh. But it sounds like they're not even doing that. It's wild. And people just deal with it. That's crazy. And then they'll throw that around like, yeah, we've been doing it for 14 years like that. Jesus Christ. Only reason I can see people not wanting to do windshields is, besides scale, would be liability. Yeah, it was a mix of those two things. It was like, didn't want the liability of not the car driving down the road, but it was, they didn't want anything to get broken on the windshield. It's like, oh, I saw too many horror stories online. It's like, those are ghost stories, man. Are there things to be cautious about? Absolutely. Would it suck if something broke and now you have a $4,000 bill? Absolutely. Would the cost, even if you have that issue, would the money that you make off of every other windshield exceed what you lost on that one windshield? Yes, absolutely. And then you lose business to go to other shops simply because you do not do that. If you don't do it, somebody else will. Right? Simple as that. Doesn't mean you need to do everything, but still, like, you want to be a go-to tint shop. I'm assuming that's why anybody's has a tint shop in the first place. It's just, why would you take something that's so, like, fundamental and expected and then just completely exit? What's your thought on the DIY tint gel? Oh, I think it's perfectly fine as long as you're not being stupid. There's lots of things will make a gel. You can go to the grocery store, you can buy food thickeners. Like, it's not hard to make a gel. I was looking into it before this was a thing. I saw the Chinese video, and then before important sauce and all the other ones were really a thing. I have them here. Yeah, right here. I got this and this. These are both thickeners. Don't really know the difference. Just it. The big AI brain said that there were trade-offs to them as far as mixing, and then I got one of these. This is a little magnetic stirrer. So I took a little scoop, poured it in a bottle, put this pill in the bottle, and what it does is it stirs, and then it makes a gel. I didn't know if for sure it was going to be safe with window tint. I just kind of stopped there. I made a gel, and then I got bored and did something else. Not going to lie, when I first started, I didn't know how to do back windshield. I would still take the job on only to replace them once I was able to do them good.
I'm gonna grab something at the house.
Okay. Is it here? We didn't need a signature for this one? Woo! All right. I would still only take the job and replace them once I was able to do good. That's really funny. Starting is always tough because there's no like set path. It's like even at a class, we teach you, but you still need a lot of practice, and it's just there's no perfect. There's not always perfect opportunities, and learning cars, there's such a variety. If you don't have somebody to learn with and show you the ins and outs, then you're just kind of like crossing your fingers and figuring it out. That's just how it is. But that's not being afraid to take it on and just deal with it, and like I'll get better and I'll fix them and whatnot. It's like, do what you got to do. I can't tell you how many stupid people are in business because they were too stupid to know that what they were doing was probably not the smartest way to go about it, but they just kept doing that. That's where you get a lot of those arrogant people. Like everybody looks at themselves like a tint god, but they don't know how to hand cut. It's because probably the person that started that was too arrogant and stupid. And it's just like, I'm just going to do this. And you know what? He made it work. So as silly as I think it is that they can't hand cut, they're in business and they're making money. I just think that you could probably do things a little bit better is all. Has your wife taught you how to speak your native language? She'll do a little bit here or there, but she gets, I think, more frustrated at me. I don't think she likes teaching people too much. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. I hope to personally meet you one of these days. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're ever in the area, stop on in. We do sell tools here too, so if anybody wants to like pick up some tools or just like say hi, as long as like, we have open hours. So I'm typically here during those. All right. Well, this one is all set. I got to see if there's anything other than this I have to catch up on. But it looks good. I'm not doing the windshield today. I'm going to send it to another shop. I'm just kidding. He's not getting a windshield. Cool. All right, good. Bye. Oh, how do you clean out your keg? My keg has a smell. If I let it sit too long, I use distilled water. Vinegar, I think, is what I've come across that is best for cleaning out a keg. I've tried alcohol, it doesn't seem to clean it out for very long. Another thing that you can do on your keg, if you haven't, is they come apart really easily. They're really easy to put back together. So this pops off. We're gonna release the air pressure. And then I've got a 18 socket that's a little bit big, could be a 17, I think. Or another type of measurement, imperial. But this will loosen up. And then, that's probably not what we want to lose right now. Okay, cool, I didn't lose them. So this just sits on top and goes like that. So there's 3 parts to these. There's the ball lock, and then the inner spring, and the O-ring with a little metal thing. So what's cool is Tint actually upgrades these so they hold better O-rings, hold pressure, so I can do that. I can release it without the air pressure, or with the air pressure still. But if I take this out, this is the dip tube that goes all the way to the bottom. There can be buildup inside of here. So you can take a straw cleaner, pipe cleaner, you know, those things that you used to play around with in kindergarten. You can take that, run it through both sides. I found this one at Target. Keep that handy. That's the only other thing that really needs to be cleaned out. But yeah, try cleaning it out with vinegar. Do you take mobile jobs, or is it just not worth it? No, it's just not really worth it. I don't ever want to leave. So it's to go do something else in somebody else's garage. They just gotta pack up and drive over there, and then they might have a space for me to tint it. They might not, and that's where it's like, it's just too many things. Which they could just bring it here, take an Uber elsewhere, have a friend pick them up, and I'm all set, ready to go. But for the time I've done mobile, a lot of people are looking for it as a convenience. Aren't always looking to pay extra to get it done. There's been a few cases where it was like, I gotta have somebody do this. I'm leaving this weekend. So if I could have somebody, I don't care what it costs. So it's like the rare situation for something like that. But I haven't done something like that or heard from somebody like that in a long time. Hopefully the vinegar doesn't affect anything after cleaning it out if it mixes with your slip. No, because you clean it out and then you dump it out. These are stainless steel tanks. So they're made to take chemicals and used for a variety of things. So like the vinegar is not gonna sit in there any longer than you're gonna leave it. So you can pour it in, you can run it through your line, and then scrub out everything that you can get to, run it through your hose, make sure it's nice and clean, and then I would just run water back through it, make sure it's all cleaned out with fresh water, and then you can add your soap. Do you get light watermarks in your tint after finishing a window, or how do I prevent that when I'm done? I know it dries out. I just didn't know if you have the same. Sometimes, and it goes like it goes back to that driver's window that I was like, Geo's a tacky film, and you'll just, no matter like how you mix your soap, it just seems to want to grab certain points on the window for like no good reason. Torch and going heavier on the soap / spraying some gel can help with just getting it nice and even and not getting like any of those marks that like grab the glass. Like it just like that little spot that grabs it, and then you twist the film or something and you might see something there. But yeah, they generally just completely dry away. The only thing that but heavier on soap and maybe spray some gel on the window. I had this Lexus 2011 Lexus IS 350 that I did. Dude, that was I don't know what it is about the Lexus IS, but that has like extra sticky glass, and spraying or hitting it with a torch didn't do a damn thing for it. I mixed 4 ounces worth of soap. I put a little gel in my tank, and I also had a spray bottle with some gel and added soap. And I would do both. I would spray the window with some gel / soap, and then I would have my soapy water mix, and I would just coat both of them and just go overboard, and that was the only thing that really helped. Yeah, from the early days of using Geo, I like the film. I like how it shrinks. I like how it looks. The stickiness has always been something that has driven me a little bit crazy. They're not the exclusive to that. The good news is I haven't had any film failures, but installation is just kind of a bitch sometimes with certain cars and certain windows, especially now that we're in the hotter months. Alrighty, guys. I appreciate you. I will be back. We have other cars coming in this week, so probably tomorrow I'll be live again. I want to get this chat thing taken care of too. I don't know why it's being